Guys, on today's installment of the John Campea Show, Simu seems to confirm that he's going to be in Avengers, Kang, Dynasty. Steven Spielberg blasts Warner Brothers for throwing filmmakers under the bus. It's game day. Wakanda Forever comes out today. What are our final expectations about that? The John Wick Chapter 4 trailer has come out. It's awesome. That and a whole bunch more. The John Campea Show starts right now. Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show. Coming to you from right here on my YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and it's an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around to talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, and all sorts of good things on this game day.
Game day.
It's game day, ladies and gentlemen, for Wakanda Forever. And, of course, this show is brought to you in part by our friends at Mint Mobile. I'm joined, of course, by Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Back there joining you guys in the live chat today is Ray Ora. You can see him back there in the background. You got Taylor back there. Of course, Jonathan Voico is here running the show. Kaylee Robinson is here hosting with us today. And most importantly, you guys are here. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to break it down into two parts. First half of the show, we're going to talk about some predetermined topics. Then in the second half of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you got a thought, theory, question, or opinion that you would like us to address in the show, at the end of the main topics, we'll announce that we're opening up the super chats. When we do, that is your time to fire in your questions. We only leave them open for just a couple of minutes. So you're going to have to get them in quickly. And then we will address those in the last half of the show. A little bit of housekeeping here, guys. Want to remind you, if you need your daily fix of the John Campea Show, but you can't be in front of a YouTube video, good news. There is an audio-only podcast creatively called the John Campea Show Podcast. Just go on your favorite podcasting app of choice, subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it. And while you're doing that, we've got a second podcast feed simply called After Show. That's where we talk about things like Andor and House of the Dragon, things like that. So go and subscribe to that as well. All right, guys. With that down, let's jump right into the show here today, shall we? We're going to start with an off the top, and that off the top is this. There's a trend, not even a trend, it's a habit that's been in with the online movie world ever since the days of Ain't It Cool News. The original, online movie fan community stuff. And that is this. Make a scoop about something everybody already knows. What does that mean? Well, every once in a while, let's say, I don't know, Rocky 3 is coming out. And everybody knows there's already Rocky 4 coming. And then somebody decides to break an exclusive scoop. Rocky survives the end of Rocky 3. Well, thank you very much for that. Well, anyway, there's a long story tradition of that in the world of online film fandom. It happens quite a bit.
He didn't survive Creed 3.
Yep, and it always will. This may or may not be one of those situations, to be fair. I don't want to come down too hard, but there's a report going around. I had a whole bunch of people write to me about this morning. That, John, did you see that Tom Holland is signed up to do more Spider-Man movies?
No.
Yeah. Right? Okay, so, of course, the first question we have to ask is, was there anybody anywhere that didn't know Tom Holland was going to be in more Spider-Man movies? So,
I had no idea.
Yeah, so there is rumor going around, being reported on a couple of sites that there are reports coming out that Tom Holland has reportedly closed a deal for Spider-Man 4. And you can bring that up, Jonathan. So reportedly signed a deal for Spider-Man 4 going out there. Okay, so a couple of things I need to caution everybody with. Number one is everybody on the planet knew Tom Holland's coming back for more Spider-Man. That's not a doubt. It's just a matter of when, not if. The second thing that needs to be pointed out is this is not coming from any of the real trades. All right? This is important. This has come from a couple of Twitter feeds and then a whole bunch of secondary or third dairy, third dairy?
Third dairy, that it's a new word.
What is the third version of secondary?
Thrice.
Yes. Thrice. Thank you. Thrice. A little bit of
Welcome to England.
A little bit of Shakespeare in there. Caesar. He turned down and not once, but not twice, but thrice. That's right. That's in there. I should remember that. But so a couple of the, let's not even say secondary, let's say the thrice level websites, kind of on the John Campea Show level, have come out and kind of repeated what they saw in the Twitter feeds. Now, that does not mean it's not true. Let's be clear about that. It doesn't mean it's not true. I just want to caution everybody that when I went and took a look at the real trades, Deadline, The Wrap, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, none of them have this right now. Again, doesn't mean it's not true. Could be. But just want to caution everybody before you get too excited about that to keep that in mind. That being said, we all know that he's coming back to play one area. The one interesting thing that's in these reports going around is that the deal does not have anything in it pertaining to Disney Plus appearances. So it says some people are going to be shocked to find out that Spider-Man's not going to be in the Daredevil series. Well, come on. Who thought Spider-Man was actually going to show up in the Daredevil series? They were not. I understand people would like to see Spider-Man show up in a Daredevil series. I get that. But nobody, come on. If you're really thinking, nobody really thought Spider-Man was going to show up in a Daredevil series. Like, they're not going to take that character and drop him on Disney Plus. And I don't think Tom Holland would agree to do it anyway. Or that they would want to use one of his contractual obligations and waste it on a Disney Plus appearance. So I don't think that's the case. And so in that regards, I think the report is probably bang on. So look, this report may be completely BS. It might be absolutely accurate. Either way, we all know that Tom Hardy is coming back for Spider-Man 4. But if it is true,
Tom Holland.
I keep saying Tom Hardy, don't I?
Although that would be pretty cool.
Tom Hardy is your new Spider-Man. It's Tom H.
Tom H.
Both playing Marvel characters. Cut me some
Hiddleston.
slack.
I'd watch that.
Oh yeah, Tom Hiddleston.
Wow.
But we all know that Tom Holland is
All
coming
British.
back, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if this rumor is true, it could signify that return may be sooner rather than later, which is interesting. Anyway, Rob, you read these reports, you heard about all this. What do you think's going on?
Gosh, I look at the anemic box office numbers of Spider-Man No Way Home. and I
Pathetic,
think to
really.
myself, yeah, really.
You can say it. Don't sugarcoat, Rob. Pathetic.
Yeah, pathetic. Terrible.
If you don't make $3 billion, you suck.
And I just look at those numbers and I think, well, of course they're not going to make another Spider-Man.
Of course not.
I mean, that's like, is water wet? It's the most obvious thing in the world. Look, I'm excited. By the way, I don't think Tom Holland has made his best Spider-Man movie yet.
Wow.
I like the Spider-Man movies. I don't love them. And I don't know why. I think it's I don't know why. I still think I like the Raimi and even the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie, Amazing Spider-Man, more than I've liked the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. And I think it's because, and this seems strange to say, but I think it's because of their connection to the rest of the MCU. It would have been nice. I think it would have been nice to have a Spider-Man. I would love to have seen like Spider-Man not so attached to the MCU. I mean, it started out with Tony Stark, giving him his technology and all that. But I don't think that Tom Holland has been given his definitive Spider-Man movie yet. And I can't wait to see another Spider-Man movie, to be honest. I like the movies a lot. I don't dislike them. But I think that he's going to get... I bet you this next movie will be less gimmicky than Spider-Man No Way Home. And I think it'll probably be great.
I still think Homecoming was my favorite.
Yeah, yes.
Of the Tom Holland ones, I think Homecoming was my favorite. Far From Home, I thought was quite good, but I didn't like it as much first one. No Way Home is a great spectacle, but I still think I preferred Homecoming a little bit more.
I completely agree with you.
And to this day, I know people get really upset when I say this, but to this day, you know who's made the best Spider-Man movies? It isn't Marvel. Sony's made the best Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man 2 is still arguably, a top, for some people, still a top 5 comic book movie. For me, it's a top 10. I think Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse might be the best Spider-Man movie I've ever seen.
I agree.
So it's always kind of funny that way. But I think Tom Holland has been. I've liked all three of his movies. I think he's a wonderful Peter Parker Spider-Man, and I think pretty much the whole world thinks that.
I agree. But I've really liked Tom Holland in. This is weird to say after what I've just said, but I've really liked his appearances in the other Marvel movies. Like, I loved him in Civil War.
Oh,
I love that.
Yeah, that was a great introduction.
And I loved him in Infinity War too. I loved seeing him. That as Ebony Maw's rocket is rocketing out of the atmosphere and he's stuck on the outside. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I loved all that stuff. So I'm glad he's back, and I want him to be in other MCU movies.
Well, whether he is back or not.
Oh, right. We don't know.
We don't know. But come on, let's face it. Even if the report isn't true, he's going to be back.
Yes.
Anyway, question is for you guys. What do you think about this? Are you excited for Tom Holland's return? What have you thought about his movies up until this point? Do you think we could see him sooner rather than later? Do you think that despite all odds that maybe he might pop up in a Daredevil series? Whatever you guys are thinking about it, jump down to the comment section below. and let us know your thoughts. All right, with that down, Kaylee, what do we got up next?
John, it's time for our Mint Mobile Hotline question of the day. If you have a question for us and want to let your voice be heard on the show, go ahead and call the number on the screen, 951-268-4259. Today's question comes to us from Shane. He's asking about Black Panther expectations.
Hey, John and crew. My name is Shane from Ohio. Well, it's game day and Wakanda Forever is nearly here. What are your expectations and predictions going into this film? And depending on what happens, could there be another Black Panther movie? Thanks, and have a great time.
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in. Well, let's jump down to the end of your question there. Could there be another Black Panther movie? Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's going to be another Black Panther movie. Whether that new Black Panther movie is going to be with the 17 Black Panthers that come out of this movie, or, by the way, I'm just being facetious, or whether it's with a recast T'Challa, which I still think they will do at some point down the road, or whatever. Listen, the first Black Panther made $1 billion at the box office and was the first comic book film ever nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. This Black Panther is going to be a huge box office juggernaut. Whether it makes $1 billion or 1.2 or 900, I don't know, but it's going to make a huge amount of money one way or the other. So there's definitely going to be another one. But it is game day. And today is the day. I'm actually going to be leaving from here shortly after we're done the show. I'm heading over to theater. Anne's cutting off. Don't tell anybody. She's cutting off work a little early today. To come and join me to go watch Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I'm very, very stoked to see this movie. You know, I'm not going to lie about this. I'm not going to be facetious. I have some concerns about it. I do. I've said this right from the get-go and from day one. I'm concerned that they didn't recast T'Challa. I'm concerned that Shuri, a character who should absolutely, one of my top 5 favorite MCU characters, but absolutely should not be the new Black Panther. I'm afraid they're going to make her the Black Panther, so I'm a little bit nervous about that. Then again, I've seen movies that the things I feared happened, but they turned out to be great and not bad. And even if Shuri ends up being Black Panther, Ryan Coogler may find a way to make it great. A lot of stuff. So I'm a little trepidatious, got some concerns. But my excitement is washing over the concerns a lot. And so I cannot wait to see what I'm seeing. What am I expecting? Well, it's kind of funny because a lot of my expectations still completely line up with what my expectations were before the reviews came out. Like my expectations were, I think we were going to be in for a really emotional journey, right? We've thought that all along, that Ryan Coogler, he was going to take something. It was going to be a cathartic experience, I think, for all of us. And hearing all the reactions and the reviews and everything coming out of it, it sounds like that's exactly what we're going to be getting. I'm expecting a great character in Namor. I'm going to admit, I wasn't all on board with the idea, especially with the little wings on his feet. I admit, at first I thought it was kind of silly. But when he started to get some glimpses of what he's going to be able to do with the little things on his feet, I'm thinking, I had to go, all right, that looks kind of cool. That does look, I was concerned that on the big screen, it would look absolutely stupid. But I got to say, I've come around on that. It looks kind of cool. So we'll see about that. I'm expecting dynamite performances. But then again, like you have some of the world's, I mean, you got Angela Bassett and Lupita Nyong'o, who are 2 of the best actresses in the world right now. Lupita Nyong'o, Academy Award winner, by the way, and she'll have 1 or 2 more on her mantle by the time she retires. So all these things that I'm expecting were there before the reviews, still there after the reviews. Other than that, I'm not really sure. Like I've heard there's a couple of twists. I've been very, very careful not to find out too much. I've heard there are a couple of twists. Okay, encouraged by that. I'm surprised that there's not an end credit scene, but there is a mid-credit one, and that kind of counts. But yeah, overall, just a whole lot of excitement. I'm very excited, despite the fact that Phase 4 of Marvel, for me personally, I'm only speaking for me, has been kind of hit and miss. You know, there's certain things I have loved in Phase 4. Shang-Chi, WandaVision, Ms. Marvel. What was another one I just recently loved? Can't remember. Some things have not landed so great for me. She-Hulk, Black Widow, and a couple of other things have not, really cracked it for me. So I'm really hoping that this is the one that gets it back on track for me. And if anybody can do it, it's Ryan Coogler. So that's where my expectations are. Rob, I know you have been beyond yourself with excitement for this film. But it's here now. It's
here. I'm
actually
seeing it
game
today.
day. It's here. We're seeing it today. Now going into the film, what's your expectations?
Well, like I said, and like the review, Owen Gleiberman's review, I was really looking forward to more world building and seeing a geopolitical conflict within the MCU. And that's what I'm getting. And the other thing I wanted to see was Angela Bassett being a badass. I can watch Angela Bassett do anything. And it looks that we're getting like peak Angela Bassett in this movie. And to me, this is so weird to say, but I love Angela Bassett in a movie called Strange Days that Catherine Bigelow directed with Ralph Fiennes. I love that movie. I love her in that movie. That was when my true love for her was born. I mean, she was good. What's Love Got to Do with It? She won an Academy Award, right? But in this movie, I can't get enough. Maybe she's the Black Panther.
It's not impossible.
You know what? I would love to get an Angela Bassett hot toy. And they already announced they're making a Black Panther. It's a female Black Panther figure, but they didn't show the head sculpt. So I'm going to cross my fingers, people.
Well, I mean, just that one image that Jonathan had up there a second ago of Angela Bassett sitting on the Wakandan throne.
I mean, come on.
Forget being in a Black Panther outfit. I know you love your chairs.
And I have that chair.
I know you have that chair. And so that figure of that chair with Angela Bassett, just not in a Black Panther, I mean, that would be a hell of a collectible.
I want it. Maybe a third party, if Hot Toys doesn't make it, maybe a third party will make an Angela Bassett figure. And I'm all over that.
Ray, I know you like Black Panther a lot, but this is a 2-hour and 41-minute movie. How much? It's a long film, and to be fair, a number of the reviews we have read, some of the criticisms we've heard has been that at times it feels drawn out. I've read a number of reactions saying it could have been a bit shorter of a movie. How has the length of this film affected your excitement for it? Because I know you were both excited for it, but dread that runtime.
We always joke about the length and stuff, but this movie has a lot of things going for me that I don't think will be an issue. I want to learn about this character, Namor. I like to call him Namor.
Namor, I can't roll my
the
tongue
Latin
like
lover. And the Chadwick Boseman thing, it's like that's why I decided not to watch it opening weekend. I'm gonna wait a week just because I want it to be more not so much, not a lot of crowds around me. I just want to watch this movie on my own. You know what I mean? Like it'll be like a little intimate thing. I don't know. That's the way I feel about it.
All right, well, guys, question is for you. It's game day. The movie is here. Black Panther Wakanda Forever opens today. I'm sure many of you guys already have your tickets. I know a lot of you are excited, but what are your expectations now going into it? Whatever those expectations are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, we're going to take a second here and thank one of the sponsors of today's show, our friends who pretty much keep me alive at Athletic Greens. Hey guys, we want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this video, Athletic Greens. Now, I started taking Athletic Greens because I don't eat enough vegetables, and I was looking for a way to make up for that deficit in my diet of those vitamins and minerals that I really needed in my system, and thank goodness I found Athletic Greens, and I literally take it every morning. You see, with one scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole foods, source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, all the things. And my wife got onto it, and now she absolutely loves it. Tons of people take some kind of multivitamin, and it's important to choose one with high-quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb, like Athletic Greens. So right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with a convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season. It's just one scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Campea. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Campea to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. And thank you to our friends at Athletic Greens for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Okay, guys, with that down, we're going to move into our main topics here. And how do we select our main topics on the show? Well, that's easy. You guys come up with our main topics. Whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we need to cover as a main topic on the show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on The John Campea Show. With that down, Kaylee, what is our first main topic today?
John, our first main topic comes to us from William DeVos. Hey, John, a lot of people have been talking and speculating about who exactly is in the Avengers right now, considering they keep mentioning them in the MCU, but no specific members are talked about. Did you see your boy Simu Liu just confirmed that he is, in fact, going to be in the next Avenger movie? What do you think about this, and do you think we're going to get more cast announcements soon? John, I know you're excited because that's your boy.
I love Simu Liu. He's a good Canadian kid. He's my boy. Kim's Convenience for life. I love this guy. I love the movie. It's one of my favorite MCU movies. It's actually, we got the theater room set up at the house now, and that's whenever I'm showing somebody a theater room, that's my demo piece. I go to the bus fight scene in Shang-Chi, crank up the Sonos, play it. I love it, and I love him. I think he's terrific. But let's pump the brakes a little bit. He didn't actually confirm that he's in Avengers Kang Dynasty. We'll talk about that in just a second. But to the main point of your email, Rob, we've talked a lot about the fact that the Avengers are mentioned in almost every Marvel project now.
Yeah.
Almost every Marvel project, the Avengers get mentioned. But we have no idea right now who's even in the Avengers. I mean, obviously, Iron Man's not at the moment. Obviously, Steve Rogers isn't. We don't know the status of Sam's Captain America right now. Wanda may have lost her membership card. She's out. So we don't even really know who's in the Avengers now.
Who's funding the Avengers?
Who's funding the Avengers at this point? Maybe Tony left a big
Mint
chunk
Mobile.
of his money to it. Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile.
In the middle of the movie.
All that Deadpool money is funding the Avengers right now. Well, so here's what came up. So where's this coming from that Simu Liu confirmed? Well, he was doing an interview, and he does kind of imply that he's going to be in it because, of course, his director in Shang-Chi, Destin, is going to be directing Avengers Kang Dynasty. So that kind of came up, and they asked him if he would be in it. And this comes to us from the folks over at Screen Rant, who wrote the following. Marvel Studios has not made any cast announcements for Avengers 5, leaving audiences to speculate about which MCU characters will be involved. During a recent interview with Comic Book, Simu Liu was asked about Destin Daniel Cretton directing the movie. He shared his excitement to see what his Shang-Chi director does with a quote-unquote grand scale of the Avengers. But Liu also seemingly hinted that he is part of the cast of Avengers 5. The actor wrapped up his praise for Cretton directing the movie by saying, "I'm so excited to get to work for him again." The outlet then asked if that confirms he'll be returning as Shang-Chi in Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, leading to the response, "I would think so. I would hope so. Don't take my word for it." And that comes to us again from Shang-Chi, or from Screen Rant, and from Shang-Chi himself.
In character, baby.
So, listen, I think what we cannot say is, boom, Simu has confirmed. I think we have to stop short of that. But at the same time, if you walk away from that statement saying, I'm taking it that he's implying he's being in it, I'm not going to correct you because I don't think you're wrong. I mean, that's the impression I walked away from. I can't say confirmed, but I listen, he's not going to say, I would think so, if he didn't already kind of know. And this isn't like it's a director who's never worked before. This is Destiny's got a relationship with him. I think it's pretty cool. Plus, I mean, he's been referred to several times, even by Kevin Feige. Shang-Chi has been referred to several times as the newest Avenger, right? Even though we haven't seen him with the Avengers yet. So while he didn't completely explicitly say he is, the implication is clearly there, and that implication lines up with other things we've heard said. So until I hear otherwise, I'm going to be going on as a fan on the assumption that, yeah, Shang-Chi is going to be in Avengers Kang Dynasty. It seems to make sense. I think that's clearly, obviously, Shang-Chi is one of the reasons Destin got the job in the first place. So, yeah, I'm going to say I think Shang-Chi is going to be in it. Anyway, Rob, you hear his comments. What was your takeaway from it?
That he's probably going to be in it. I would assume, looking at the roster of heroes, I think everybody's going to be in these movies. I wouldn't be surprised if variants of Iron Man, Tony Stark, and Captain America come back. It is, after all, the multiverse saga, and maybe they have to pluck people from because, like we've said, what Avengers? Doctor Strange was never an Avenger.
True.
You know,
Kevin Feige confirmed that he's not an Avenger.
Spider-Man's not an Avenger. Black Widow.
Well, no, Spider-Man was anointed an Avenger. Remember?
Oh, I get, okay. So okay, but now nobody remembers where Peter Parker is. So how are they going to find Spider-Man?
That's right.
You know, so they don't. Let's table Spider-Man for a minute. Although he'll probably come back. Like you were pointing out, who's left? I mean, Captain America. Okay, but is Sam Wilson's Captain America an Avenger? I mean, I guess Falcon
he will
was an
be,
Avenger.
but is he right now?
Right.
Actually, you're right. Falcon
was an
de facto Avenger.
He was an Avenger. He
Yeah,
worked
grandfather did.
So he was an Avenger. So he's around, and I guess the New World Order. I would imagine.
War Machine, probably.
Yeah, I would imagine that's part of what Sam Wilson will be doing in his own movie, because I think New World Order comes out before Kang Dynasty. He's probably going to reform the Avengers. I bet that's going to be part of that movie. He's going to have to go forge a new team, I would think, but I don't know. But I guarantee you, of course, Shang-Chi is going to be in the Avengers. Of course he is. He's going to be in Secret Wars too.
By the way, Hulk's probably still in the
Hulk,
Avenger.
yes.
The 17 different Hulks that run around.
The
now.
way he might be taking his kid to Boy Scouts. You know,
This better, I just have to say, this better be true, because like when you first told me about Shang-Chi's powers, I was like, that's ridiculous. And then when we saw it on screen,
ridiculous.
When we saw it on screen, I cannot wait to see these rings again, man. Like the martial arts with the things he does with the rings was so awesome to me. Like when it ended, I was like, do more stuff with it. Like,
yeah.
I want to see him in a big battle with those rings.
I think we'll see him. I honestly think, I was talking to somebody, a good friend of ours actually, who works with somebody who has seen Quantum Mania.
Oh, wow.
And said it was great, and that it plays into what we're going to see, and it would make sense because it's the first movie of Phase 5. But there was a lot of stuff in it, and this person was saying it's a return to form in terms of moving forward. That there's a lot in it that's going to lead forward.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Simu Liu is seemingly implying that he's going to be in Avengers Kang Dynasty. I think a lot of people probably assumed that was going to be the case, especially with Kevin Feige calling him an Avenger, the newest Avenger at some point. How do you guys feel about that? What sort of role do you think he's going to play? Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 2. Kaylee, what is our second main topic today?
Second main topic comes to us from Aaron. I love that.
Aaron.
Love it. There are reports going around on several sites right now that Indiana Jones 5 is a complete disaster. It says Disney is absolutely freaking out about this. They know this movie is going to bomb big time, which is why they've delayed it as long as they have, despite it being finished, and that there's talk that Chapek may decide not to release it and take a tax write-off. Does this concern you, and how valid do you think these reports are? Thanks. John.
Bullshit.
Okay.
It's complete,
All right.
utter, unfettered bullshit. Okay, first of all, I've told you guys for a long time that anytime you see reports of test audiences, do not believe it. You're like, unless you're hearing the director of the movie referencing them, or the actor of the movie referencing them, or the studio itself referencing them, don't believe it. When it's the anonymous sources and blah, blah, never believe it. Like, yeah, once every blue moon, it turns out there might be some truth to it. Once every blue moon. But for the most part, don't believe it. Also, while I am not a big fan of Disney right now, this notion of Disney is freaking out. No, they don't freak out. They may look at a project and realize they've got a bad one on their hands, but they'll navigate the waters. They'll push through it and whatever. Also, Harrison Ford, who never gives anything away, recently was on stage and saying he loves this movie. Harrison Ford, who never does that, by the way,
Right.
saying he's really proud of this movie. Also, just for a second, James Mangold, like the way this is being described, that it's such an unmitigated disaster. It's so terrible that Disney's thinking about just throwing it away, like what Warner Brothers did with Batgirl, which is totally bullshit. But really? So you're saying James Mangold, the director of Logan, the director of Ford v Ferrari, the director of 3:10 to Yuma, the director of Walk the Line, the director of Copland, the director of Identity. He made a movie that was so unbelievably bad that they're just, oh my God, they're thinking about just throwing it away now. It's complete and utter bullshit. And I remember when I got the first email in from it, I'm like, well, I'm just disregard that. But then I got like 7, 8, or 9 other emails in saying, all saw it from the same place. Like, oh my God, did you see blah, blah, blah? It's complete bullshit. Now, am I telling you right now that Indiana Jones 5 is going to be some kind of masterpiece? Of course I'm not. It could be bad. It's just like any movie could be bad, 100%. But what I am saying is this report is totally nonsense. This whole idea that Disney would axe a film like that, the idea that, listen, James Mangold, who made, God, he also made Night and Day, which I think it's one of Tom Cruise's better movies, actually.
It's very underrated.
He did Girl Interrupted, which just, won some Oscars.
Yeah.
Am I saying that this director is completely incapable of making anything other than absolute gold? I'm not saying that. He also directed The Wolverine, right? But The Wolverine, while a disappointment, was not that bad.
No.
So you're telling me this guy, Ford v Ferrari, Logan, Night and Day, 3:10 to Yuma, Walk the Line, Identity, Girl Interrupted, Copland. You're telling me that guy made a movie that was so unbelievably bad that they filmed 6 endings to it. Come on, guys. This is bullshit. Like we as movie audiences have to start to developing our filters when we see something like that and going, guys, we know we can instantly dismiss this. And again, I wouldn't have even brought it up except for the fact that we had a bunch of people seeing those same things and wondering if there's veracity to it. There's not. And again, that doesn't mean the movie can't be bad. Of course it could. But even if it is, has nothing to do with this at all. Anyway, Rob, you saw these reports, you heard these rumblings and these whispers. Like, what's your response to it?
Well, like you, I mean, I don't believe that. And for me, one of the ways I find out a lot of, I guess you'd call it inside industry information, is when I'm talking to somebody who's working in the industry but doesn't realize that I care about this stuff, like that I'm a big nerd and hang on every word. So I heard from somebody that I'm actually working on a project with peripherally, who is in the legal end of the business, who knows a person that has seen this movie. And we're just having a conversation about this project that I'm working on. And he just casually mentions that he had heard this movie was excellent from a person, very high ranking person that worked on this film that has seen it. They've seen the movie. And he just kind of threw this casual out like, yeah, can't wait to see that new Indiana Jones movie. I heard it was really good. Like, he doesn't know that I'm like, oh my God, tell me everything you can. He doesn't know that about me. I mean, he knows it, but because people that work in the industry are not like us. Most people don't really, they're jaded and they want things to be good, but they're not, when they talk about things, they're not big nerds like we are. Like, oh my God, you saw Indiana Jones and whatever it's going to be called movie? And we're like, what is
that's the official name, by the way. Yeah.
Tell me everything. They're not like that because they work in the industry. So all day long, they're ensconced in the entertainment world and in the legal profession. All they don't care about them. They want their contracts written. And that's one of these guys. Like, he doesn't know that I'm like, oh my God, really? He just kind of casually, yeah, I heard it's really good. Like, he doesn't, it's not any different than any other movie.
Yeah, I'm a lawyer,
and when he told me that,
that's how most lawyers sound, by the way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm a lawyer. That's pretty
when
cool.
he told me that, that's when I perked up and was like, oh. And I can't be like, I don't want him to think I'm a big nerd. I want him to think I'm a
people
professional.
to like you. Yeah.
I want him to work with me in a professional capacity.
It's called marketing, Rob.
Yeah, and the fact that he told me this just casually, I'm like, that's good to know. So until I hear something else from a source like this guy that tells me contrary to this, I'm of the belief that this movie is actually quite good, and that within the industry, that is the word.
Now, let's not forget,
could be wrong,
that there was another Indiana Jones film that was made by the greatest filmmaker of all time that didn't turn out so good.
No,
right? Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. No disrespect to anybody who does like it. That's great if you like it. I think it's fair to say a lot of us didn't. So that can happen, but this, oh my God, guys, yeah, this is bullshit. So let's see. The movie's going to be good or bad on its own merits.
Yes.
And it's going to have nothing to do with this. By the way, the same is absolutely true if some report comes out next week saying, no, some report comes out and says, we have heard that all the test audiences loved it and think it's the greatest movie of all. To equally, I would say that's bullshit. And because maybe it does turn out to be great, but it'll have nothing to do with these reports. So anyway, guys, if you find that post that Ray put up, ignore it.
Me?
It's just, I'm guys, just ignore that damn report.
Yeah,
It's the stupidest thing in the world. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Regardless of that, what are your expectations about Indiana Jones 5? I mean, I'm very curious about how it's going to be.
I hope it's great.
I
Don't
hope
you
so.
want it to be great?
Harrison Ford seems to think it's really good. Anyway, whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Speaking of Harrison Ford, you know what he does a lot? Goes to the pharmacy. And you know where he should go? To our next sponsor, the good folks at the Amazon Pharmacy. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this episode, Amazon Pharmacy. Now, if you're anything like me, you dread going to the pharmacy. You never know what the hours are. You never know what you're going to pay. You're worried about being stuck in a huge line. And that's why you're going to love Amazon Pharmacy. Amazon Pharmacy delivers a better pharmacy experience that delivers directly to your door and works with most insurance plans. Amazon Pharmacy helps you save time, save money, and stay healthy. There's transparent pricing so you'll know exactly what you'll pay before you pay it. Prime members can also save up to 80% on their prescriptions. And like I mentioned earlier, Amazon Pharmacy works with most insurance plans. And this is one of the best parts. If you ever have any questions or problems, real pharmacists are always available at Amazon Pharmacy no matter what time of day or night. Your medication gets delivered to your door, so there's no more rushing out to the store hoping to get there before they close. Amazon Pharmacy is a pharmacy that works for your life, with meds delivered to your door. It doesn't get any better than that. Switch to Amazon Pharmacy and save time, save money, and stay healthy. Learn more at amazon.com/Campea. That's amazon.com/Campea. Average savings based on usage and Inside RX data as compared to cash prices. Average savings for all generics are 78%, 37% for select brand medications. Restrictions apply. And thank you to our friends at Amazon Pharmacy for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Now remember, guys, when you support our sponsors, you're actually supporting us. So go down to the description of this video, and right at the top, you'll see links to all of our sponsors and the promo codes. And thank you again to the Amazon Pharmacy. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 3. Kaylee, what is our third main topic today?
Our third main topic comes to us from Aaron Mehta. Hey crew, I was wondering what your thoughts were on Steven Spielberg's comments about how filmmakers are being thrown under the bus because of Warner Brothers' HBO Max strategy. He said that the day and date releases of HBO threw filmmakers under the bus and was ultimately not fair to his fellow directors. Would love to hear your opinions on this and bring on the filthy. What do you think, John, about Spielberg's feelings that his fellow directors are being thrown under the bus?
I mean, listen, this is an industry where Steven Spielberg, when he talks, people listen. And sometimes if he says things that others have said, people will actually pay attention to it now. It is no secret what I thought about what Warner Brothers' strategy was when they, without consultation with their financial partners, without conversation with their distribution partners, without conversation with their exhibition partners, without conversation with their director partners or their filmmakers, their agents, their writers, any of that, all of a sudden just announced that all the films that were scheduled and booked to come out in 2021, they were just foregoing the theatrical release and just putting it straight on HBO Max. That elicited extremely strong and emotional responses from filmmakers like Christopher Nolan, Denis Villeneuve, who's a good Canadian kid, so it takes something to get him riled up. Us Canadians, we're known as a calm bunch.
Is he from Montreal?
Unless he's from Montreal. Yeah, then they get a little bit more passionate and emotional. Or unless we're talking about hockey, of course. That'll get us going too. But it broke the relationship with Christopher Nolan. It nearly broke their relationship with Denis Villeneuve and a lot of others. And it was interesting to see that David Zaslav was able to get Steven Spielberg and Christopher Nolan to sit down for lunch the other day. Anyway, this comes to us from the folks over at Variety, who wrote the following. And this is quoting Steven Spielberg, who said, "The pandemic created an opportunity for streaming platforms to raise their subscriptions to record-breaking levels and also throw some of my best filmmaker friends under the bus, as their movies were unceremoniously not given theatrical releases," Spielberg said. "They were paid off and the films were suddenly relegated to, in this case, HBO Max." So Steven Spielberg, who's not really commented on the situation like Christopher Nolan did, like Denis Villeneuve did, like a lot of other directors did, coming out and saying something now. I think it's interesting that he says this now, right after his meeting with David Zaslav. Now, remember, this act of idiocy happened under the old Warner Brothers leadership. This happened under the AT&T regime, the Jason Kilar regime at the time. And this new iteration of Warner Brothers, it looks like one of the things that David Zaslav is trying to do, as the head of Warner Brothers Discovery, he's trying to mend fences, man. He's trying to rebuild bridges, having lunch with Spielberg, Christopher Nolan, all that kind of stuff. Who knows what they were talking about? But he's clearly, part of his job, he understands, is to go out and reestablish Warner Brothers relationships with filmmakers who ultimately, as a community, felt completely betrayed by the old regime at Warner Brothers. And now he's going around and trying to fix that. So, number one, you all know I agree with Spielberg because I've talked about this for like well over a year now. So I completely agree with this sentiment, but I also think it's really, really cool and highlights the fact that it looks like these relationships are finally being mended. We've heard David Zaslav say, making big budget movies and trying to release them on streaming makes absolutely zero sense. That's what he said in the investors call. It makes no sense to do it. And so we're not going to do that. And he was probably sitting down with Christopher Nolan, Steven Spielberg, and re-emphasizing their commitment as a studio that we believe in the theatrical experience. We believe in the work of directors. When it's good, if you make crap like Batgirl, we're probably going to axe it. But,
Right.
you know, we honor our commitments, all that kind of stuff. Come on back. So I think it's a really interesting comment, particularly coming out right now. Rob, you hear Spielberg's comments. What's your takeaway from it?
Well, I think he's absolutely right. You know, we talked about that. I mean, at first, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and it seemed like maybe it could have been some kind of a viable strategy to keep movies coming out there. And I understand, but it was proven throughout that year how detrimental it was.
It nearly killed them.
We've seen it over and over and over again. It's not a good idea. I don't believe that big budget movies should first show up on. I mean, look at Disney, where Disney is right now with their earnings call. They've lost like $4 billion on streaming. They're talking about how they spend too much money making stuff, that subscriptions alone are not enough to keep them afloat. They have to re-engage the theatrical business. Even Disney and Warner Brothers, it's time after time. And for Spielberg to come out and say this, you know, I think now he can say it because there's no consequences. He knows that things are different at Warner Brothers now. And I kind of liked hearing him say this. It's nice that people reiterate this, but it's nothing that we don't already know. And I think it's good that he's speaking out like this because, look, I want to preserve the theatrical experience. But as we've said, John, a good theatrical run only ups the value of the movie itself. And it makes a better product that people are going to sign up. They're going to get a subscription for whatever streaming service that has that movie so they can watch it over and over again if they love it because they saw it in the theaters.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Steven Spielberg does something he's not really known for doing, which is actually kind of take aim and taking some shots. What do you think about his comments? Whatever those thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. Okay, guys, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 4. Kaylee, what is our fourth main topic today?
Fourth main topic, Rick Bickmore. By the time your show starts, the first trailer for John Wick 4 will have dropped. I hope the crew gets a chance to see it before the show so you can all share your thoughts. Bring on the filthy. I saw it. It looks like a really good time. Like, I'm pumped to see it. It looks fun. What do you guys think?
It's outstanding.
Yeah.
It's outstanding. I thought it was perfect. You know what it is? To me, it's getting more into the reverence of that world. Like, I really enjoyed John Wick 3. Like, I mean, you guys saw my review of it. I really had a blast with that movie. But there were a couple of things I took nitpicky issues with. Like, sometimes it got a little bit silly. They contrived the mythology that they built up in part 1, especially a little bit. You know, like the guy in the middle of the desert part was whatever. This one, and again, we're just talking about a trailer, but it feels like they're reinstituting that reverence for what the table is. There's a seriousness to it as well, right? And there also seems to be this sense of, one of the things that has driven me crazy about John Wick 2 and 3 is the fact that in the first John Wick, and we were talking about this in the office the other day, in the first John Wick is, well, I don't even know if he is the Baba Yaga, or if he's the guy, no, he's the guy you send to kill the Baba Yaga, right? He's the guy that when a Russian mafia member finds out that somebody assaulted someone, well, you tell me who it was John Wick. Oh. Like, that's what the name John Wick does. That even in the biggest of baddies, the name of John Wick instills instant pause and fear. When we got into John Wick 2 and 3, as much fun as I had, and I love John Wick 3 especially, I really do. But one of the things that I didn't like was the fact that nobody seems to care it's John Wick anymore. Nobody cares. Like, every 2-bit assassin is like, oh, go after John Wick? Sure, I'll do that. Whereas in part 1, if somebody had gone up, like, I feel like if we had gone back to John Wick part 1 and they had added a scene where, you know, somebody went to a hitman and said, I'll pay $10 million for you to kill somebody. Sure, I'll do it. Who? John Wick. F you. No way. I want to live. Like, that's what it would. Whereas in this one, like, every 2-bit thug on a street corner with a cell phone goes, oh, hit on John Wick. Okay, I'll go hunting John Wick. La, 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 la. That fear, that epicness of who and what he is and his reputation was gone. And I get a sense from this trailer, a little bit of that might be back. And that excites me. Not to mention the cast.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård, pumped.
Well, I mean, you're talking about Donnie Yen. You're talking about, why am I freezing on his name? He was just in Bullet Train. I'm forgetting his name at this point, but he looks like one of the heads of the table as well.
Oh, yeah.
I'll look it up.
Hiroyuki, but I'm forgetting his last name. Why am I freezing? Anyway, at any point. You look at this cast that they've lined up, and it's like, this feels like
Hiroyuki Sanada.
Sanada, thank you.
Right.
This looks like the movie that John Wick Part 1 was building up to. Whereas, as much as I had a blast with Part 3 didn't feel like the movie John Wick 1 was building up to, even though I completely loved it. But this looks fantastic. I love that conversation between, I think it was Donnie Yen in the church with John Wick. Do you think he should hear you? No. Then why do you do it? Because maybe I'm wrong. Oh, you're going to die. Maybe I won't. I mean, that whole, I'm going to go see this movie just for that scene. Just for that scene, I'm going to go see it. I am beyond stoked for this thing. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to see the trailer for John Wick Chapter 4. What did you think?
Well, it was funny because when it popped up, every morning I have like a morning ritual. I get up, I feed the dogs, I make coffee, and I turn on YouTube. And for whatever reason, the first thing that pops up usually is any new trailers. You know, and this trailer popped up with it wasn't John Wick 4. But then when the John Wick 4 was down, it looked like it was some bogus. It wasn't from a normal site. And I was like, is this a fan trailer? Because I hate that. But I clicked on it anyway. And I'm like, oh, no. This is the John Wick trailer. And no. It wasn't a fake trailer. It wasn't a fake trailer. I watched this trailer 4 times in a row. I mean, first of all, I absolutely echo your sentiment about in John Wick 2 and 3. It seems like there's a world's greatest assassin everywhere you turn, and that nobody was scared of him. And the whole point is that there's just not that many of them. And now that John Wick has probably killed them all, there shouldn't be any left. I mean, compared to what happened in John Wick 2 and 3. Like, there's nobody, the Continental has nobody to book any rooms anywhere because he's killed them all.
It's all babies.
And yeah, I mean, it's like
baby assassins.
I didn't like that because in the first movie, it wasn't people from the Continental necessarily going after John Wick. It was a Russian mobster, and his son was the one who ran afoul of, even though there was people sent into the Continental. But this movie, I'm like, what are they going to do? How am I going to care? Because we already know John Wick can kill everybody. I really like the idea that somebody thinks he's better than John Wick.
I was waiting for Taylor to start singing.
Somebody.
Yeah, there it is.
My God. I did it in my mind.
I knew that was coming.
But that plot point, it's not a spoiler, it's in the trailer. I love this idea. I love this idea that we're now going into the upper echelons of the table.
So wait, In the trailer, that guy is supposed to be better than John Wick.
I don't know which
The guy at the table where he was sitting in front
that
of her.
younger guy. I guess
I don't know if it's him or if it's
Yeah.
supposed to be Sonata or if it's supposed to be Donnie Yen.
Yeah,
but
I don't
there's
know
no-
who it is, but somebody wants to fight him one-on-one.
And he's supposedly better than John Wick from what everyone
I don't know,
thinks.
the guy
Probably-
must think he is.
I got a feeling it's probably a member of the table.
Yeah,
too.
probably a member of the table, and now we find out he might have familial members at the table that we didn't know about.
Yeah, that it looked like he maybe didn't even know about.
That he didn't know about. I'm like, I don't care. This movie looks dope.
Yep.
I can't wait to see it. I
Yep.
kept watching the trailer, the action scenes. That one scene when the cars are skidding, he's like, I mean, come on.
What
dude.
about the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade thing? You see the 4 horseback.
Oh
and the
my
horses-
God.
And the guy's like he's like shooting guys
I
on
mean,
horses.
They're like, no one's
in the
getting
middle
away.
of the Sahara Desert?
Yeah, no
I
one's
mean,
getting
they're out
away.
of this movie.
No one's getting away.
Ultimately, John, I just don't care. I want to see John Wick shoot dudes in the head. He's very good at it. I will watch this. I want to watch it. I want to buy the disc already. I'm going to play it loud at home. I can't wait for this movie. I'm like, March, I could get hit by a bus by then.
Oh,
Now I saw a quote from the director.
Stop walking in the street.
I saw a headline from a quote from a director of the film who said this. Now this was the headline, but it said, and I didn't get a chance to read it before the show started, but it said basically the director confirms that in the movie, as if I wasn't already excited, that Sonata and Donnie Yen fight in this movie.
it shows in the trailer. They do.
The two of them, I didn't.
Yeah. It's like a real quick clip. They're like,
I must have thought it was
Yeah.
somebody else. And
No,
I'm
no.
like, okay, I know everybody said this twice. I would go to the movie just for that scene. I would go to the movie just for the church scene. I would go just to see those two fight on screen. Are you kidding me? This is a fucking wet dream for people who grew up
But
watching
wait,
these guys fight on
there's
screen.
one glaring thing that's missing.
Uh-oh.
What it all started with. Where's my little dogs in here?
Where's the dog? I didn't see a dog.
Okay. And now did John Wick start because of a car or a dog?
Who's his dog?
It was the
The
dog.
dog or the car?
No, it was the dog.
Right, it was the dog, right? Okay.
Absolutely the dog.
He would have went after them if they just took his car.
Well, it really was his wife because that's what made him retire. In the
But
first
his wife
place.
kind of screwed him because now he's in all this stuff.
All I know, hey, we're
give
going to
him
get a
the
wife
dog.
flashback. That's all I need. I get everything I need from this John Wick movie. They have set the table for me.
Okay, I know we've talked about this before with the first John Wick movie, but it seriously was one of the most brilliant things I've seen done in a movie, going back to the original John Wick. And I want to see that they find a way to continue this on here, because you bring up the dog, right? There's a dissonance that can happen between the audience and who the antagonist is if the audience can't get on board the antagonist. And in John Wick, he just straight up kills a lot of people. Some might say overreacts, right? So from a story and a narrative point of view, you got to come up with something that gets the audience 100% on board with all the unspeakably horrible things the antagonist is going to do. And they did. I mean, you could do your traditional one. No, they killed my wife and daughter. Okay, yeah, but that's been done a million times. I remember sitting in that theater watching that movie. And when they killed the puppy,
The love puppy that his wife gave
that
him,
his
of
wife
course.
gave him and everything, when they killed the puppy,
Yeah.
right?
That's
I have never felt the emotional gear shift in an audience. There were little old ladies in that audience who was like, that fucker's gotta die.
No. There was
guy's
a
gotta
huge gap.
Die.
Everyone's like, no, you didn't. Like, it was me, Schnepp, Dennis, you.
Yep.
I didn't see any trailer. All I know is Dennis said, hey, we're going to go see John Wick at lunch or whatever. It's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I was like, what's John Wick? Let's just go with. So I didn't see anything about it, right? And when he killed that dude who
they
killed
killed
the
that
dog,
puppy.
I stood up. Schnepp had to bring me back to my seat like that. That's right, mother. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, hey, calm down. Because I was so happy that guy died. He went through a lot of people to get that guy, but that guy needed to get got.
Yeah, but that's
you know what I mean?
that's the narrative brilliance of it, right? Because they knew that one thing, and because I'll tell you this: if everything about that first John Wick was exactly the same, but they didn't get the audience to connect on that level with John Wick and get fully behind his crusade, I don't know if it'd be nearly as effective. But every time John Wick killed somebody in that movie, there's like everybody in the audience together, raise your hand for the dog, for the dog. Every time somebody died, for the dog, right? Everybody's totally on board with this. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to we're now in the fourth movie, right? So it's got to be more than just him running for survival, right? Give us, I hope they find a way to get us emotionally hooked in with him again, to go, every time he kills somebody, we're like, that's right. Like, that's what I want to see.
You know, it's funny, that movie too, not to belabor the point, but that was a movie that I did not have high expectations for, the first John Wick. And it was I'd seen the trailer. I'm like, okay, it looks cool. I like Keanu Reeves. that movie was such a surprise.
Yeah.
Like, you're halfway into that movie, like when he goes to the Russian club, you know, and by then,
By the way, it was Big Daddy Diesel. Remember, it was the doorman.
Diesel could have,
and even he was like, "Yes, Mr. Wick."
Yeah, I mean,
and then Wick is leaving him alone. This is Big Daddy Diesel, right? He's like, all right. And when Big Daddy Diesel realized he's going to let him live, thank you, Mr. Wick. I got to see that back in the movie.
Yeah, and you know, when I watch this movie, like when Lance Reddick shows up, you know, and he's at the concierge desk at the Continental, just the way he talks, the way every person in this movie, it's like I'm watching this movie and every choice they made in the first John Wick was just delicious. It's like, these people know what they're doing. And why? And I think to myself, why isn't every movie like this? Like, every choice they made in the original film, from the cinematography to the action scenes, was just perfect. And I remember when the movie was over, I'm like, God damn, that was a full meal. I had so much fun watching this movie. All movies should be like John Wick.
There is kind of a redemption for me in this movie, because the way 3 ended, I felt like backstabbed big time when Shane Black and the
Oh yeah, I always knew that was set up.
Oh, I was just like, how dare you? How dare you,
sir?
You guys are gonna be on that list. This movie, you're on that list. So let's get him.
Jericho coming out.
Let's get
You're
these
on
guys.
the list.
Yeah, let's get these guys.
By the way, I got to point this out too. Somebody else who's pointing out this, saying this is probably the best one, is Lawrence Fishburne himself. This comes to us from the folks over the Hollywood Reporter. Wrote this. John Wick Chapter 4 will also once again reunite Keanu Reeves and The Matrix co-star Lawrence Fishburne, who believes that the upcoming sequel is the best outing so far. Number 4, he says, is going to be, honestly, when I read it, I was like, this is the best one. It just was, the actor declared. From the way that it opens, there are like 3 or 4 really incredible set pieces in the opening of the film that are just like, whoa. There are new characters, one in particular that's so much fun. Well, actually, 3 are crazy fun. And yeah, you know, I got to be in it again. I come back from the dead. so he's pretty. So, I mean, high praise coming from it. Everybody's excited about it.
Dude, this might be my most eagerly, after seeing this trailer, my excitement levels through the roof.
Same.
I love the way he said crazy. He added crazy in there. Not just fun. He had to add that crazy thing. So we're going to see some stuff.
We're going to see a lot of fun. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Do you have a chance to see the new John Wick Chapter 4 trailer? I thought it was all kinds of awesome. What did you guys think about it? Maybe you didn't think it was all that good. Maybe you're not even a fan of the John Wick franchise. Hey, whatever you think, jump on down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, we are now going to open up the super chat. So if you guys have thoughts, theories, questions, or opinions, go ahead and fire those in now. Remember, don't take too long to do it, because we only leave the super chats open for just a couple minutes. So go ahead and do that now. Now, before we get to those super chats, we're going to take a second and thank the main sponsor of our show today, Ryan Reynolds and my cell phone service provider, the great folks at Mint Mobile. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month. And now for the plot twist. I'm just kidding. There isn't one. Mint Mobile just has premium wireless from $15 a month. There's no trapping you into a 2-year contract or opening the bill to find all these crazy fees. There's no luring you in with free subscriptions to streaming services that you'll forget to cancel and be charged full price for. With my old wireless provider, every month when I opened the bill, it was like playing roulette. I never knew knew how big the bill was going to be, and it always seemed to get bigger. With Mint Mobile, it's totally different. I know exactly how little I'm paying every month, and there's never any surprises. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or a family. And at Mint Mobile, families start at just 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And guys, you get to use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. So transferring over couldn't be easier. So to get premium wireless from just $15 a month and no unexpected plot twists, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. You'll make your wallet very happy at mintmobile.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at Mint Mobile for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. Okay, guys, with all that down, let's get over to your super chat, shall we? Kaylee, what do we got in there?
We got Mr. Hankton. I hope that the Daredevil show is made super cheap, like $1 million an episode cheap.
I mean, you're obviously going to see it have a healthier budget than it did at Netflix, but it doesn't have to be too much more, right? Like, that was the beautiful thing about that show, was that Daredevil is a dude with no, well, I mean, he's got some extra human powers, but not really any big flashy superpowers. So the only thing I think they really need to spend more money on is some CGI when he's going to do something that no human being can actually do, like he did in She-Hulk when he did the big thing off the side of the building, whatever. So every once in a while, they'll probably have him do something like that, just to kind of show that he is more human than human, to quote a little bit of Rob Zombie there. He's more human than human, but still just human. So I don't think it'd be ridiculously expensive. It'll be fairly cheap, but probably a bigger budget than what they did in Netflix. All right, what's next?
Next up, Amin says, great trailer. I enjoy the films, but am I the only one that feels this franchise is going to get stale with a 4th film? It seems like the same thing.
Thought the same thing with the 2nd film. Thought the same thing going into the 3rd film. I'm talking for myself. Thought, okay, same thing. I mean, what are they going to do? They didn't really do a lot new, and it was still really fun. Then going into part 3, it's like, well, they better introduce something big and new because we've seen gun fu. Okay, what are you going to do? More gun fu? Yes, please.
Yes, please.
That's what they did, and it was great. That fight in the library.
Oh, yeah, with the basketball player.
With the basketball player, dude. That fight was awesome. And so, you know what? This is one of those things. Like, look, not to get a little bit of TMI, but, you know, for the most part, sex is kind of it's the same thing. The functionality is basically the same. Do I want some more? Yes, please. It's fantastic. Sometimes just getting more
Brother-in-law.
Sometimes getting more of the same is perfectly okay. But the trailer does look to me like they're going to add a little bit more, right? So I'm excited about that.
Also, the world building. I think that
Yeah.
the world of John Wick is really interesting, and I the more they and it looks like this leans heavily into that because there's kind of a fantasy element to it all. You know, the ritualistic element. Everybody has coins and medallions and this, that, and the other thing, and this looks like it leans heavily into that. And I'm there for that, John. Plus, dudes get hit in the head, shot in the head, busted in their faces. I love it. There was horseback riding in number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Come on,
Vacation.
John Wick on a horse in the streets of New York City.
And now we're getting
Bring
into
it on.
deserts.
And ninjas.
We're in deserts with dudes getting shot off horses.
And the sword blocking the bullets. Come on.
Dude,
That part is going to
come
be...
on. I mean, sword play with a gun. I mean, in close quarters.
By the way, just quickly, I see a few people in the live chat. I don't know why I have to keep saying this, guys, but I see a bunch of people in the live chat asking, where's Erin? Guys, Erin's a working actress. She's not going to be here. She's, for those who are wondering, she's in New York right now filming one of the FBI shows. I think it's FBI Most Wanted. And then before that, she was off in Vancouver shooting Nancy Drew. So, yeah, if you don't see Erin around here, I don't know why every time she's not here for a day, people go, oh no, where's Erin? Erin's a working actress. She's off working right now.
By the way, you wouldn't
But she
hear
will be
her
back next
wax rhapsodic the way we are about John Wick 4.
It might be, she loves John Wick.
Oh, then maybe she would.
Yeah, she really likes John
Never
Wick.
mind.
And she loves Keanu Reeves.
Oh, there you go.
Me
All right, what's next?
Andy, from what's been seen from the show so far, Cassian Andor's inductive reasoning skills are incredible and on point.
I was saying this to Ann, we were watching, there's an element of Sherlock Holmes to him in some ways. The way he's able to deduce scenarios that he's in and kind of think 3 pieces ahead. Now, we see him, and I like this about the guy, we see him as a ruffian gunslinger, but what makes him special is that deductive reasoning. And that's one of the things that makes the show so great. Why I thought the last episode was so damn good.
And they show him observing. They make they make a big point to show him watching these things.
Pays close
he's
attention.
looking around. We see what he's looking at. So we, as the audience, it's not surprising that he's deducted these things. Which is
All right, what's next?
Next, Al Renshaw. This will probably never happen again, but would love to see John Wick interact with Lorraine and Nobody. Maybe Lorraine and Nobody are tasked to kill Wick. I would believe they could do it.
I'm sorry, which one was Lorraine?
Well, I think
Oh.
Mr. Nobody, they're talking about.
Well, I know nobody. You're
And
talking
the
about Bob
blonde.
Odenkirk.
No, it was the blonde.
Yeah,
Charlize Theron, blonde.
Yeah, from
Oh,
Atomic Blonde.
Atomic Blonde.
Oh, is that was the character's name in there?
Yeah.
Lorraine.
I mean, I like Atomic Blonde quite a bit, but I mean, the Mr. Nobody, his name's not Mr. Nobody. That's the villain from Doom Patrol. But Nobody, Bob Odenkirk and Nobody, like that was made by the same people who made John Wick. It felt like it was in the same world as John Wick. A lot of the background mythology felt very similar to John Wick. You could cross that over. Now, here's the problem. You need to put out another Nobody movie and get it, because not a lot of people saw Nobody. Those of us who did really had fun with it, but they need to elevate a bit more. Then you create a crossover with that.
Oh, no.
I hate shared cinema. I
No.
don't hate shared cinematic universe. I hate the over reliance on shared cinematic universe. But you do that one. You don't like that? Did you even see Nobody?
Do you know how much training
that.
John Wick, how much killing he's done, and then Bob Odenkirk all of a sudden feels like he's gonna beat some people
But
up?
did you see Nobody?
Yeah, it's gonna be a wipe.
He was doing it his whole life.
Oh, I didn't see nobody.
I'm wrong. Oh, I was wrong. I only saw the trailers.
I
Oh,
didn't see nobody.
Yeah, he had been laying low and retired like John Wick was.
Okay, now it's come back to me. You're right. God, what was I thinking? What movie was I thinking of?
Are you thinking of Better Call Saul or
no,
something?
but you know,
No, not okay. You're right. Maybe it might be an even matchup now. I completely forgot about that movie.
They
Sorry.
should
That's why they do need to bring another one out,
Like,
right?
Yeah, they do. They
getting your
do. They
point
need to
out.
elevate the
I
property a
need
little
a
bit.
history.
It'd be cool if you did a cameo, though.
I mean, I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great. All right. Anyway, what's next?
Cross it over with MIB.
Yes.
Next up, Ben Rayner. Wow, thank you so much for your $50
Well,
super
thank
chat.
you, Ben, so much, man.
Awesome. Hey guys, happy Thursday. I know the guy at the end of the table who wants to go after John Wick. Imagine this Wick gets up to the big bad camera pans up, Alex Winter. He wants to go after Wick and have a gun fu fight. Going to be epic.
Okay, honestly, 100% truth. When they mentioned the familial ties, the family, whatever, I thought we were going to find out somebody on the table was his brother, and it was going to end up being Alex Winter, like right.
That would be too.
That would be a little bit too.
That
bad,
would
I think.
shatter the fourth wall.
Yeah, I think it really. Whoa. And yeah, I just
that would be whoa.
That's the MTV Movie Awards
Yes.
moment that they reshoot and put in the
yes.
the
Awards.
awards.
With
Yes,
like Ben
but
Stiller directing it.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller directing it. But listen, here's the thing though. I 100% guarantee you, Ben, that the revelation of the family member that is on the table, it will be somebody we know. It will be a big name.
Right. Yeah.
That will do a quick cameo.
For sure.
I mean, and when I say big name, I mean, it could be a Harrison Ford. It could be a Robert De Niro. It could be, I mean,
Leonardo
seriously,
DiCaprio.
yeah, maybe
That
even,
would be really
I
cool.
Wish,
honestly
but I don't think so.
I mean, it doesn't sound like something DiCaprio would do.
No,
But
it'd
the
be
John
funny.
Wick
That's why it'd be
franchise
funny.
has such a unique kind of fandom amongst people.
Liam Neeson, baby.
It could be
Italian.
unique.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't look like he'd be related.
but Keanu Reeves he's half Hawaiian. Maybe he has some Asian
Come on,
blood
Rob.
in him.
There you go.
He's Canadian. He's more
Reaching?
Canadian than Hawaiian.
It's true, but
Point
But
that
that'd
out.
be crazy, man.
But it's going
He's
to be
got a little blood in him.
It will be somebody. It'll be somebody that when they appear on screen, the audience is going to go, "Whoa!" Like it's
Yeah.
going to be one of those.
Yeah.
I think again, no inside information. That's just me speculating.
Because that's what you know what the thing about the people, I always feel that the people that are making the John Woo movies just sit around and like this right
John
now.
Wick movies.
Yeah.
The
And John
Wick
Woo,
mo-
too, if
Oh,
you
did I
want.
say John Woo?
Yeah.
I was thinking John Woo movies. The John Wick movies, they're all sitting around going, what could we do to make this even cooler? Because
Yeah.
it's like stuntmen that control the whole thing. You know, they're directing, and they'll come up. They can make your dreams come true. They can just make. What if we did that? People go, yes, yes, let's do that. And that's why whoever this is going to be awesome.
Yep,
it's going to be epic.
They created the movie through town hall meetings. What do you guys want? Let's do it.
I'm sure that look, the screenwriters and the directors. I mean, yes.
All right. What's next?
It's gonna be Justin Long.
Justin. Oh God.
Yes.
Stubble McShave. Damn you, Ingalls.
Inglés.
Inglés.
That's John Rhys Davies from Shogun.
Oh, that's
Damn
right.
you, Inglés.
That's right. That is what he always referred to
Yeah,
him as.
Inglés.
in
That's
that.
what he called. That's what he called Richard Chamberlain.
Richard Chamberlain.
John Blackthorne.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait for a new. I've been waiting basically my whole life for a new iteration of Shogun.
Dude. So I wonder if they'll keep the theme song. Probably not.
No.
Such a great. Maurice Jarre did that. So good.
But a lot of people were surprised. First of all, a lot of people have never even heard of Shogun. But I remember
I don't like
when
this
we
movie.
were watching, I was doing a live stream watch along with that Disney Investor Days call when they announced all the Marvel projects and they announced Fantastic Four and they announced all the Star Wars projects. And then when they were doing the Hulu part in effects, and said, we have coming now a highly anticipated blah, 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 based on a celebrated novel. And I remember on my live stream, I went, are they going to say Shogun? Or no, they could. No, they're not going to say Shogun. And they went Shogun. And I lost my mind. Out of all the big Marvel and Star Wars things, that was the announcement. They got me super excited. I cannot wait.
Dude, Shogun is my favorite miniseries of all time.
Mine too.
And when they released that, they released the Blu-ray in Europe before they released it here. And I got it, of course. It's region free, by the way. Now, but it's been released in America. I watched it like 3 times all the way through because it's like 12 hours long. It still holds up.
Yeah.
Still holds up.
And the book was great. The James Clavell
Oh,
book
I
was
read
fantastic.
the book's like 2,000 pages, too.
Oh, God, this was so good.
Dude, there he is. John Blackthorne. Yes.
I cannot wait to watch this. All right. What's next?
Next, Michael Serta says Hulk in the MCU these days, to use sports slang, is a jag, just a guy.
He kind of is. The Hulk went from the ultimate nuclear option in the MCU to just another guy.
He does yoga now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine.
I get it. That makes sense. Like if you're going to try to make him Smart Hulk now, Professor Hulk, then I get it. He's got to do certain things to be able to manage himself, his anger, and keep himself calm and serene and tranquility, serenity now, and all this kind of stuff.
Seinfeld.
Namaste.
I get
I
it.
just watched that episode. Oh,
Did you? This is
So
so
good.
good. Serenity now.
so good.
I get it. I do. But you made, again, the ultimate nuclear option in the MCU into a footnote in the MCU. He's a guy who can show up, but nobody's particularly worried about the Hulk anymore. Nobody's particularly afraid of the Hulk anymore. Hulk's just Hulk. I mean, he's just a green guy who's big and stronger than the average person now.
Yeah.
It's a shit. I really hate what they've done with the Hulk.
Yeah.
I really hate it.
I would imagine in Secret Wars he's going to be chopping some fools apart
I
with
want
his
that.
Hulk powers.
I want that so badly.
Kang Dynasty, he's gonna wreck shop.
I need to see him revert back to Savage Hulk.
You're gonna see him.
I hope so. Because
Yeah.
right now, I like honestly, right now, I'm not interested in anything they do with Hulk right now. Like his son shows up at the end of She-Hulk, I just don't care. And I went from being like the Hulk is the thing to get most excited about because when Hulk shows up, stuff's gonna happen, right? And now I just
Well, now he comes to your family picnic.
I know.
Hey, everybody.
He likes to hug a lot.
hey, why don't you meet my son?
Yeah, look who it is.
I've started a YouTube channel. In Avengers Kang Dynasty, he'll just be online the whole time
It's just, I'm
with
like,
pimples.
He's live streaming the Kang Dynasty.
Yeah.
I am more interested. Coming out of the She-Hulk show, I am more interested in a Madison show than I am about what they're doing with Hulk next. And it pains me that I'm not even kidding.
Well, can you imagine like a Sex and the City Madison show where she's like navigating
Oh, wow.
the world of superheroes in New York and you know she's drunk all the time, man,
Disney
wearing
Plus,
a Manolo
baby.
Blahniks, you know, and just come on.
Okay.
The quest to find
I
her
see
why.
you. You know your Sex in the
I'm
City.
telling you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, what's next?
Impressive.
Next, Brandon Torres. No Black Panther for me this weekend. We got hit by another hurricane today and my car is underwater.
Oh no!
Best of luck, my Florida brothers and sisters. Oh, man.
You know, it's weird. I was watching. I popped on the news, see a little bit of about the election coverage, whatever. And I saw one of the headlines was about the hurricane forming, and I hadn't even heard of it. So I don't know if that's old news, whatever. So I just went on. I guess because the election's going on, this has flown right under the radar for a lot of us. But yeah, for everybody in the path of the storm down there in Florida, take care of yourselves. Hopefully this will pass quickly, and our thoughts for you guys. All right, what's next?
Next up, Robert Nazi says, is David Zaslav the new Bob Iger?
Okay, let's be clear about something. There's one big Papa Iger.
Yes.
There is one, and there will always only be one big Papa Iger. But I think, here's the funny thing. I've been saying this whole time. Zaslav's the man. All these moves that everybody, boo-hoo, he canceled Batgirl. I've been telling everybody, history's going to show he's done everything right. He's done everything right. And you cannot fix a dying patient with a Band-Aid. You got to get a scalpel. You got to cut open. You got to get in there, do the messy work, and you got to get it fixed. And sometimes that means doing some messy things. What's funny is, in the last few weeks, you are starting to see some people realize that. Like when they see a lot of the moves he is now actually making, concreting up. To me, one of the most important things too wasn't even the appointing of James Gunn and Peter Safran as the heads of DC Studios and officially cementing DC Studios as its own independent studio. To me, it was just the finding out that he sat down, broke bread, had lunch with Spielberg, with Nolan, the biggest guy who came out against the way Warner Brothers treated filmmakers. And he's now, here he is. It's not just the axe now. It's the healing balm of Zaslav. Zaslav is now rebuilding bridges and fixing relationships at the previous thing. And I'm telling you, 2 years from now, he is no Bob Iger. There is only one Bob Iger. But he's doing a great job on a place that needed help desperately.
Kind of where Disney is right now after that earnings call.
Yeah. Not so hot.
Bob Chapek said, no, we're going to make up all the $4 billion losses in streaming in the next 2 years. Really, Bob?
Not so sure that's true.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
All right, what's next?
Next up, Xander. In SW Rebels, Thrawn is hunting rebels. What are the chances we see or hear about him in Andor Season 2 or any SW Rebels characters in Season 2?
None. I don't see, other Star Wars Rebels characters in Andor, the timeline lines up. The timeline does line up. There's not going to be any Thrawn in Andor. That just doesn't fit. It also doesn't make sense, and it also doesn't line up with the timeline. But having some Rebels characters from the TV show Rebels up here, that would make sense, and that wouldn't even feel all that forced.
Do you think Cyril's uncle is somebody we know?
That's the one big dangling mystery of this, right? Make sure you let Uncle Cyril know. I mean,
Dangle, baby.
What if Uncle Cyril's Tarkin?
He just looks at you.
no, that's Wilhuff.
Sorry. Like,
His name's Wilhuff.
Right, but maybe he's got a nickname.
But in the Empire,
Maybe that's his middle name, and that's what they just go by in family. Because we've never heard.
But it's somebody. It's somebody.
It's got to be somebody.
I don't know who or what, but that's the one remaining real mystery here. Is like, what's with his uncle? Who is? This?
They're gonna.
He clearly has a lot of power and influence.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right, what's next?
Next up, Amin again. Game day.
Game day.
There you go. Seeing Black Panther in about 3 hours. John, like you, I didn't want Sam to become Cap, but after seeing the reasoning in FATWS, I understood. I'm hoping it will be the same with Shuri and it'll make sense. Fingers crossed.
So just to be clear, it's not that I didn't want Sam to be Captain America. So I don't think anybody else should be Captain America. Like, I remember the big debate was like, well, should Sam or Bucky be the next Cap? And I'm like, neither. Yeah. Bucky is great as Winter Soldier. Sam is great as Falcon. Steve is Captain America. That's it. But John, you see in the comics. No, I get the comics, but the comics are the comics, the movies are the movies. I thought in the movies, they shouldn't have passed the mantle on. I thought he is Captain America. That should just be it. But like I said, going into Falcon the Winter Soldier, I said, well, they're obviously going to make him Captain America. Okay, that's fine. Let's see if they do a good job of it. And while I didn't love the show overall, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I liked it But one of the strongest parts of that show, if not the strongest part of the show, was Sam's journey to embracing the mantle of Captain America and taking back the shield. So at the end of the day, do I philosophically think that only Steve should be Captain America? Yes, I don't think Bucky should be it. I don't think Sam should be it. But if you're going to do it well. They did it well. And so, yeah, it's like, great. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with New World Order. And I'm hoping the same thing like that happens in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, right? Like, I philosophically do not think Shuri should be Black Panther. But if Ryan Coogler, one of the best filmmakers today, if he can accomplish what Falcon the Winter Soldier did with Sam's journey to embracing the mantle, then I can get on board with it. And that's when I'm going to go into the movie this afternoon with my fingers crossed, hoping I do. All right, what's next?
Next, Al Renshaw. Spielberg directed Star Wars movie or leasing make the Stanley...
I think he says Leafs.
Probably means Leafs.
Oh, or Leafs makes the Stanley Cup Finals, and you get to pick BI side. John, could you pick one if you had to?
Fuck Spielberg.
Yeah, John goes for the selfish one. We could all...
Yeah, we could all benefit.
Yeah, I don't care.
Only in the John
I
world.
don't care about the rest of you. You don't understand.
No.
You don't understand, dude, wearing an
We get
LA Dodgers cap who've won the World Series however many times.
We get
The Toronto Maple Leafs have not even been to the Stanley Cup Finals my entire lifetime. So you shut up, Dodgers boy, with all the rings and all the championships and successful seasons all
It's
the
going to
time.
be Spielberg.
My entire life.
One word, Spielberg.
My entire life. The entire time I have drawn breath on this earth, the Maple Leafs have never even been to the Stanley Cup.
Shout out to the Leafs. Keep up the good work.
So, nothing I want more in my movie world than Spielberg directing the Star Wars.
Boys.
But fuck Spielberg if I can have the Leafs in the Stanley Cup. I gotta have it, Rob.
Gotta have more cowbell.
The rest of us will take that Star Wars movie.
I mean, yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
But I've never once in my lifetime seen it happen. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher. Okay, I agree with Rob about Indy. It's not like it's set in a galaxy far away. It's Earth in the 1900s. That's not so unique, and it's about one guy. Not a whale. Not a hole. Not a hole.
It continues here.
Awesome. The other half is going
here.
to be
Right here.
Galaxy Universe. This also seems like Solo all over again because we're about to see Ford again in Indy 5, especially if Indy dies in Indy 5. Aw, I don't want that. Got me sad.
I think fundamentally it's different. I really do. I think there's a fundamental difference between Solo and Indiana Jones. I get the similarities. I completely do. But I do think even philosophically, this is a very, very different thing because, like, also in Star Wars, you had the whole band back, right? Luke was back. Leia was back. Chewbacca was back. Like, the whole band was back and all that kind of stuff. I think we've known for a long time that Harrison Ford was coming to the end of his run as Indiana Jones, right? The thing is, too, with Solo, Han Solo is one piece of the Star Wars universe. The Star Wars universe, Star Wars, is about way more than Han Solo. He's not even the main piece of Star Wars, right? Whereas Indiana Jones, that is the franchise. Indiana Jones is the IP. That's the property. That's the franchise. That's the series, is right there. So I don't think you can compare saying, they try to replicate a piece of the Star Wars universe. This is the whole IP. So I think that makes it a fundamentally different situation, even though I do recognize some of the similarities.
I do too. I think I agree with you.
All right, what's next?
I just got this image of like Indy and his son, and his son's like, I have to do something, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. And we notice Indy's on the edge of a cliff, and we're like, oh my God, not again.
Or another bridge with no handrails. Why are there no handrails on this bridge?
The balance.
All right, what's next?
Chris Truitt says the MCU is built on anticipation for the next entry with teases in each film. I think what hurt Black Adam was the lack of teasing in previous films. I could see that.
I disagree with you, Chris. I do not think if the MCU was built on the anticipation of the next film, the MCU would have failed.
Yeah.
The MCU is built on making great crowd-pleasing movies.
And, I'll tell you something else, John. Like, you look at Captain America, the Winter Soldier, while it does set up this idea of Hydra, it could be its own movie. if it was just that movie, it would still be a great movie.
Even without the tag at the end with him waking up in the modern world.
Absolutely.
Him going down to the ice, and that's the tragic end of the self-sacrificing hero. That movie, like, that's the thing.
That's the Captain America, the first Avenger.
This conversation comes up a lot about, well, maybe the reason DC didn't work the way Marvel works is they didn't follow the formula of build up the individuals. No, the reason Marvel worked was not because of any formula. The reason Marvel worked is because Iron Man came out and people loved the movie. That was it. Like, people keep trying to search. It's kind of like that that online meme where you see Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover with all the mathematical formulas going on. Everybody's looking, what's the formula? What's the formula? It's really this simple. You make great movies. It's that simple and that ridiculously impossible.
Well,
because you make great movies, Rob. People are going to look forward to the next one.
I'll tell you something else too, that the Zack Snyder era, as much as I love Man of Steel, we love Man of Steel. The problem with Batman v Superman, it's not fun to watch.
That's a pretty big problem.
And I like,
honestly,
I,
pretty
I
big
like,
problem.
and I like
He
Batman
meant
v
that.
Superman. But like when you watch Iron Man, the scene where he's testing out the Iron Man technology,
Yeah.
and he's flying around,
Having arguments with his robotic arm thing.
yeah, and that's fun. Because we see ourselves in Tony Stark. Like, wouldn't it be? That's what I would do. Like, if something would fly around my laboratory, and it wasn't wacky, but it was something you would expect, and it was fun to watch Tony Stark develop the technology and try and fly for the first time.
Yeah.
And the heads-up display and all that stuff was joyful, and like this is what you want from a superhero movie because there's an element of wish fulfillment in that. But Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, the most fun I had was Wonder Woman's theme. Yeah, I mean, that was so awesome. I'm like, yes. But the rest of the movie is so dour. It's not. I mean, being Superman should be fun. If I was Superman, I'd tell you, I'd have fun all day and twice on Sunday.
Probably all the wrong kinds, too.
No.
The world would be in trouble if you were Superman.
No. You know, if I was Superman, I'd fly to Paris for lunch. You know, I'd sit at cafes and sip wine. I wouldn't be affected. I could
Eat
still
that
fly
cheese.
home.
Drunk
It'd be great. You know, I would do it like what Superman did. I'd fly to Hawaii and, you know, get fruit for Elizabeth and bring it home. And that movie was not fun. And being Batman's fun, too. Busting up some criminals, that's supposed to be fun for us to watch.
So what about Black Adam then? What's wrong with it?
Oh, I don't know. What was my point? No.
Yeah, no, look.
No, I was saying that the
the
reason the
formula.
MCU movies
Yeah.
are fun.
Yeah.
That's why they
And
succeeded.
Black Adam was fun.
Yeah,
I think
but-
that's why you're seeing that the audience liked it. It's not about whether it leaves you anticipating the next movie. Because listen, if your movie's bad and then you do something to tease the next movie, no one's going to care.
Right.
Like, we love the moment of Henry Cavill showing up at the end.
But the difference with Black Adam is not a good movie.
yeah.
It should have been, it was fun, but it wasn't a good movie. Whereas Iron Man 1 is legitimately
Yeah,
a great
it's a
film.
solid movie, great narrative, wonderful dialogue, all that kind of stuff. A lot of things that Black Adam didn't have, but I still had so much fun with Black Adam. Went to
I
see
did
it
too.
3 times. By the way, quick side note about the Wonder. Ann and I went to a string quartet concert. How many times have I said that in my life? Ann and I went to a string quartet concert a couple weeks ago with Martika, and it was this all-female string quartet. But the leader of this quartet is the lead violinist for Hans Zimmer and his orchestra.
Wow.
So they
she
did
good?
an evening of playing Hans Zimmer music, and they included playing the it was a Tina Gao.
Yeah.
They included playing the Wonder Woman theme. It was pretty cool. It's
great
awesome.
It was a pretty fun night. All right, what's next?
Next up, Anubis says game day. Anticipation at max. T-minus 4 hours until my Wakanda Forever showtime.
Yeah, I'm 2 hours away.
Speaking of
My show
anticipation.
time is it's 1 o'clock Los Angeles time right now. My show time is 3 p.m. I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited, man. I hope you have a great time, dude. Obviously, we will talk more about the show or about. Oh, you know what? I'm not even on the show tomorrow. It's you and Chris tomorrow.
You're
But
in Vegas, baby.
I will have to record. You know what I will do? I will get to Vegas tonight. I will do my out of the theater reaction today, and then tonight from my hotel in Vegas, I will record my full review, and then put it up, and then you guys can play that when you guys talk about your.
And you should make a cold open tomorrow in Vegas for us. to
I will.
play.
I will do the cold open from Vegas. I will do that. All right. What's next?
Next up, Stubble McShave. Hey, look at that. The missing evidence in the Kellner case. My God, he was innocent. He went to the chair 2 years ago. Frank.
No idea what we're talking
I don't know
about.
what that is.
Me
Stubble.
neither.
Sorry about that, Stubble.
That's what I was
All right,
like.
what's next?
Next up, Jake Vidmar. I've become more and more fond of the movie Steve Jobs.
The Michael Fassbender one.
I think it's one of my favorite screenplays. What do you guys think of it? Like it? Dislike it? Thought it could have been better?
I found it forgettable. I didn't think it was bad at all. Like, I watched it, I thought, and Michael Fassbender was really, really good in it. This is a weird thing to say.
that the one
I
with
actually
Kate
like the
Winslet?
Ashton Kutcher one a little bit more.
Whoa.
It had a bigger scope.
Seth Rogen was in this one though, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
He
But-
played Steve Wozniak.
Yeah.
The Ashton Kutcher one had a wider scope to it. Like, and I really like what they were doing with the Fassbender one. They narrowed in on a couple of key events, right? And I like that. And Fassbender's performance was great in it. And I liked it, but I instantly kind of put it out of my mind. I've never watched it again. And I haven't watched the Ashton Kutcher one again either, but I think I preferred that one a little bit. Which one did you like?
I love it. Like The Big Short.
The Fassbender one.
Yeah. Like The Big Short, there was a time when I watched that movie like 10 times. And I would watch it when it was on streaming. I would just watch it over and over. And I don't know why. There's something about that. It's the script. It's kind of like Molly's Game. I don't know why, but it's the same thing. Aaron
Yep.
Sorkin.
I
directed.
love Molly's Game.
I love Molly's Game.
I love Molly.
I'm like,
I love
Molly's game.
I am Spartacus.
Molly's Game rules, and it's about a redhead.
Of course it is. All right. What's
All right.
next?
Andy went to my local Best Buy and they finally got rid of the movie section. Oh, I know physical media is dying, but damn, it really hit hard to see that
Wait,
gone.
no.
I mean, I was just in one last week and I saw it. There's
Yeah,
still DVDs
I was just in a
and
Best Buy like
Blu-rays.
2 weeks ago, and they were still selling.
It depends which Best Buy, because some people
Hollywood.
they don't sell.
Only a couple of years ago, there were rows. Now I think this time there was like one
Yep.
little thing,
like
but it
one
was
row
still
now.
there.
I mean, I will say this: I did get Steven Soderbergh's The Limey, the 4K
Yeah.
Steelbook, Best Buy exclusive. That was the last thing I picked up from them. Went down, drove down to the Best Buy in San Bernardino, picked it up.
Best Buy wants you to pick up the rest.
That's what they call it. They want you to come get the rest of it.
Man, you really know
They
how
watch
to hurt
you
a
walk
guy.
out and then like, all right, pack up all the rest.
All right, what's next?
Kurt, John, I know you're down on Suri being a Black Panther. All she needs is an 80s style workout montage to make it more believable.
I know, right? Just she's running and she's jogging, then she's practicing her backflips and she falls in the first couple of backflips, but then she succeeds and her mentor's like,
Da-da-da.
as the music plays, and yep, that's all you gotta do. Hey, listen, Ryan Coogler is a master, so I'm sure he's gonna come up with some great way to do it. All right, what's next?
Richard, Dr. Stinky, I see Black Panther today at 3 p.m. Woo!
Nice, me too. It's the first showing they have out here, so I'm gonna go see the first showing of it. Ann and I are gonna go. Very stoked. I hope we all have a good time when we watch it, man. Good luck. All right, what's next?
Richard Cuts, have you guys watched the Let the Right One in series starring Damien Bichir on Showtime and Paramount Plus? It's one of my favorite new shows.
No, I love Let the Right One In, but I've not seen the new series. I've heard good
This is
things,
the
though.
second person that said it was great. I had a friend I trust said it was great. And I'm like, really? It looks good. The trailers are great, but all right, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I and I love Damien Bashir. So
Me too.
I'm going to check it out. I love the original story. I even love the remake. So yeah, let's see what they do with it. All right, what's next?
Next, Suthius, I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know never see versus I finally rest and watch the sunrise on a grateful universe. Such a dichotomy.
No, Luthen's
Fair.
line was better.
Very
Yeah.
deep.
Thanos' line was very, very good. It was. It didn't make me gasp when he said it. When Luthen says that line, I gasped. I mean, and I went back and I watched it again and again. And then I watched the whole damn speech again. Like right up to the moment when he hits the remote and the elevator door closes on the dude. I just, that scene is going to win him an Emmy. At least I think it should.
It's so good.
It's so powerful. All right, what's next?
Next, Sam Fisher. I hope we hear Namor say Imperious Rex or some Mesoamerican version of it.
Rob?
I guess. I mean, look, comic book catchphrases, it's cool, but in a way, it kind of takes me out of things. Like if the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if people started saying Excelsior,
But
I'd
why
be
would
like,
he say Imperious Rex when that's Latin? And when it was in Atlantis, it made more sense because it's European based. Maybe that he would have access to like Latin and all that.
Yes.
In your Mesoamerican, you're going to start using Latin. I don't know.
Never know. All right, what's next?
Next.
But he might. I mean, it would be cool if there is now I want to know, is there a Mesoamerican version of that?
Okay, what's up?
Andy, it doesn't matter if John Wick 4 is the best one. If it's as good as any other John Wick films, the franchise is still ridiculously consistent.
Oh no, absolutely, Andy. Like I say that all the time. This doesn't need to be the best one.
Yeah.
Be on par, or be almost as good as, and it's still great. That's the wonderful thing. Like whenever a new mob movie comes out and seeing people, first thing people ask me, is it as good as The Godfather? Well, does it need to be as good as The Godfather? And this has happened to me before. Like I see one movie and somebody says, is it as good as the greatest movie ever in that genre? And I go, well, no, it's not as good as that one. People go, well, John hated it. Why didn't John like that movie?
Oh.
He didn't say it was as good as the greatest one of all time. I mean, but so you're absolutely right, Andy. I'm 100% with you. It doesn't even need to be as good as John Wick 1 or 3. If it's as good or just about there, all I need.
Magnifique.
All right, what's next?
Alejandro, kinda dumb Disney is not letting us theater employees use out free passes for Black Panther.
Maybe yes, maybe no. I mean, listen, it all depends on what is their specific reasoning. And if we might see the movie and totally understand why they did that. Like, listen, Disney, this is a movie that's going to maybe flirt with $1 billion, maybe go higher than $1 billion, right? They're not worried about the $50,000, $60,000 that they will or won't make from theater employees seeing it. That's not what they're worried about at all. They're worried about something else. And so, because what happens traditionally is, movie theater employees often get an employee screening of the movie. Actually, the GM of a local AMC theater used to invite me over to come and watch the staff viewings of it. And sometimes it would be weeks in advance, right? So I don't know, maybe there are things in it they're worried that having that many people see it in advance might raise the potential for things being spoiled. Don't know, but I guarantee you it's not a financial thing because like $50,000, $60,000, they don't care about that. All right, what's next?
Next, Wade Kilman. Hello, I was wondering if you guys have watched the show Resident, Alien, and
Alien, right?
Sorry, guys. What you think so far? Alan Tudyk is one of my favorite actors, and I loved season 2 with season 3 in production in 2023. Oh, and Bring on the Filthy.
I love Resident Alien.
It's so good.
I love that show. I talk about it all the time. The first of all, the dynamic between Alan Tudyk and the kid, just number one. Just the way he just openly talks about, I'm going to kill this child. I mean, it's just like one of the funniest things ever. Then you got Linda Hamilton popped up in it, like near the end of season 1, everything that too. I love this show. It's just so creative. Alan Tudyk is not a household name. He is an absolute treasure, though. Like whenever he's in something, whether he's just doing he does a lot of voice work too.
Yep.
Whether he's just doing the voice of characters or he physically appears in things, he always elevates it. He's got something that is very, very unique to him that just makes me love watching him on screen.
He's great.
He's
and that
wonderful.
show is great.
And listen, one of my favorite lines from any movie ever is always going to be "A leaf on the wind." Going back to the movie Serenity, "A leaf on the wind." I love him. He's fantastic. All right, what's next?
They did him dirty in Serenity, though.
Oh, but it was such a great ending for him. Such a great ending. All right, what's next?
Next up, Dr. Stinky. Sorry, second part. What are you guys' expectations?
I don't remember what
What are
Dr.
your
Stinky
guys'-
was talking
He's
about.
going to see Wakanda
Yeah,
Forever.
it's good.
Well,
Wakanda.
we spent an entire opening section of the show talking about our expectations of it. I have high expectations. Again, I'm a little trepidatious because of a couple of things I already mentioned. But other than that, my excitement level is very, very high. Can't wait to watch it. All right, what's next?
Next up, Mark Gommans says Wakanda Forever is gold. Loved it from start to end. You guys are going to love it. Have a great watch and weekend.
Well, as of right now, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and we can bring up my screen if you want to there, Jonathan. But Black Panther Wakanda Forever right now is sitting at 84%. With 100, so it's not like there's only 8 reviews in. It's 100, what is that? 67 reviews have come in right now. 187 reviews have come in right now, and it's sitting at 84%. Again, some of the criticisms I've been reading about it are the ones that revolve around feels stretched out at times. Maybe they relied on the emotionality, but for the most part, most of the top critics are really just love to say it's a great emotional experience. But again, the common idea seems to be it's not quite as good as the first one.
Right.
And again, doesn't need to be as good as the first one to be an enjoyable movie. I don't need you to shake my world when I go to a movie. I just need you to give me a good time. Make me walk out having had a really good experience. And whether it's as good as the first Black Panther, better than the first whatever, just give me a good time and I'll be excited about it. All right, what's next?
Next, Jim, wonder if Spielberg will call out Disney for Pixar.
An animation studio is really kind of a different thing, I think, because all the filmmakers are in-house, right? That's the thing. Christopher Nolan never worked for Warner Brothers. He was not, let me put it this way, he was not a Warner Brothers employee. He was paid by Warner Brothers to come do a job, but Pixar films are made in-house, right? And it is definitively theirs from beginning to end. So I doubt that, and I don't really equate the two situations. Like, I don't like at all what Disney did with those Pixar films, dumped them on Disney Plus. I don't like it at all.
Red should have been theatrically released.
It 100% should have been theatrically released. But while I absolutely believe that, it is a different situation than what Warner Brothers did. All right, what's next?
Mr. Hankton, I hope the Daredevil show is made super cheap. No, I already read that one.
Oh, yeah, we already had that one. Yeah.
Talking entertainment with Josie. Game day, got my 7 p.m. ticket, bucket of corn, and 300 boxes of tissue. Hashtag right time.
Yeah, you know what? You just reminded me, talking that I need. One of the great things I love about AMC, and I'm sure you can do it some other ones, I love being able to hop on my AMC app and order my snacks in advance. I love showing up.
Yeah, they have that.
I'm going to do that as soon as we're done. I love showing up to the theater, just walk right to the rack, and there's my John Campea. There's my food. Grab it. I really do like that. And thank you for reminding me to do that, because I hadn't done that yet. Because I bet the lines are going to be long. The concession lines are going to be long. All right. What's next?
Next, Brandon Torres, John, Alex, or Izzy, Dustin, or Chandler?
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Chandler from Friends?
Yep. All right. What's next?
Next
And
up.
hush descends upon the crowd.
Okay, Peter Cunnington.
I'm sorry. Izzy.
That's
Just say style bender then.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're talking about the UFC fights this weekend. Okay. Bring that back up. Style Bender by Miles. I know he beat him before, but
him?
that wasn't MMA. Alex Pierre.
Oh, they fought before?
Yeah.
Oh, was that the kickboxing one where he got knocked out?
Yes.
He's actually fighting him?
I know he not. Yep, they're fighting.
Oh boy.
They're fighting in this UFC. But Style Bender's a completely different fighter now. He is. And Poirier, let's put it this way. The longer that fight goes, the more and more I guarantee Poirier wins. Chandler has absolute knockout capability. He might be able to sneak that in there in the first round or two, but honestly, I would put my money on Poirier for this one. All right, what's next?
Support.
Okay, Peter Cunnington. Thank you so much. Brandon Tor. I think that's everything.
Yep. All right, guys. And that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. And again, our apologies for being a little bit late today, but we've had a long night and everything. Anyway, so thank you for being here and joining us. A big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the super chats, number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so much for your support. Don't forget to come back and join us again tomorrow for the next installment of the John Campea Show. We'll see you then. And keep your eye open on the channel. I will put up my right out of the theater reaction to Black Panther Wakanda Forever, maybe about 5 hours from now.
Wow.
Is when that'll go up. So keep your eyes open for that. So for everybody in the room, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett, Ray Ora back there, Taylor back there has been keeping an eye on everything, Jonathan Boyko running the show, Kaylee Robinson. My name's John Campea, guys. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.